On the beginning of the film we meet Katie, a contract video editor immersed in enhancing a few exceptionally touchy photos. Suffering financially, she heads to a restaurant with only a few cash in her pocket. Whilst she orders a big espresso, the cashier informs her she doesn't have sufficient cash. Katie explains that she's ready on bills due on the quit of the week. Seeing her desperation, the bartender has the same opinion to permit her take the espresso at the situation that she can pay her return later. Return domestic. Kay examines her mail and unearths a paycheck. However, as an alternative of comfort, she feels even greater careworn. The quantity is always much less than what she changed into. Promised. Pissed off, she visits her buddy Guy, who casually asks if she's heard returned approximately the industrial she auditioned for. Katie admits she hasn't. However, if she receives the activity it will cowl all her summertime season prices. Man but isn't always precisely supportive. He well-known shows that he carried out for the identical position, plenty to Katie's annoyance. Later that night time, Katie gets an email she did not get the activity. Disheartened, she all of a sudden receives a mysterious message from an unknown sender imparting her a contract-enhancing gig. $1. According to 2-minute video it sounds too top to be authentic. Whilst she asks for information, the patron explains that the primary charge can be instantaneously. However, if she takes at the activity she ought to haul 4 greater movies to get the relaxation of her income. No extensions, no excuses. Without a different alternatives and payments piling up, she hesitantly accepts as she prepares to consume. Her landlord suggests up, reminding her that he has been lenient for 3 months. However, this time he desires the higher. No exceptions. Quickly after, her mom texts asking approximately the industrial. Now no longer trying to fear her, Katie lies, announcing she were given the activity. In search of recommendation, she turns to her buddy Kevin, who tells her to take something paintings she will be able to locate and hold. Pushing ahead whilst she receives domestic, a package deal is ready at her door. Enter a USB pressure and observe. Make the edits terrifying. Intrigued, she plugs with inside the pressure the primary clip. Sug. Just a shaky low quality recording of a lady getting into her domestic. The second one follows the cameraman sneaking in her, wherein he unearths a small canine locked in a cage with inside the 0.33. He enters the lady's bedroom, wakes her with the aid of shining a flashlight in her face, then begins involved strangling her. Her muffled screams echo earlier than the display cuts to black. Shaken, however desiring the cash, Katie edits the video. Exhausted, she dozes off, handiest to awaken and locate her cat. Mendacity nevertheless close to the front door. Panicked, she rushes it to the vet, who shows contamination or poisoning. However, Katie insists her cat in no way is going outdoor without a cash for in a single day. Commentary, she leaves feeling helpless. She visits Guy for consolation. However, their communication leaves her feeling even worse. The subsequent morning her cat appears best till Katie attempts to choose it up and it lashes out aggressively. Simply then a notification pops up. $1. Deposited into her account earlier than usual. Procedure. There's a knock on the door. Some other package deal. Extra video documents. She clicks on the primary clip. A person rants approximately the shortage of empathy with inside the global earlier than placing himself from the ceiling. The pictures is uncooked, unedited. Actual Katie's belly turns. This isn't always simply dark content material, it is something always extra sinister. She right away messages the customer announcing she's out. However, as she reaches for her cat it hisses and swipes at her. That nighttime she wakes unexpectedly, a flashlight shining immediately at her face. She gasps, however earlier than she will react the mild drops to the ground. Her coronary heart kilos. She scans the room, no one's there. However, then her PC display sparkles to existence, gambling the first actual clip she edited. A sit back runs down her backbone. She spins round. A digital digicam is installation recording her. She bolts upright, a nightmare. However, her comfort is short-lived. Her landlord has reduced off the power, compelled to head downstairs to repair it. She later receives a name from her mom asking for $500 to assist with payments. Without a desire, Katie messages the customer, I will preserve modifying on the cafe. She ultimately will pay off her preceding espresso debt. Earlier than heading domestic, some other stressful video awaits, this time a female being suffocated with a plastic bag. She edits and submits it. However, sleep eludes her. She smokes, looking to calm herself while she ultimately drifts off. She goals of being trapped, waking up gasping for air. The subsequent undertaking is even worse. The pictures indicates a cameraman secretly filming a pair tenting with inside the woods. The scene takes a scary flip while they are attacked. Katie forces herself to complete the edit and hits ship quickly after $4. Lands in her account. However, she cannot shake the sensation developing interior her. This pictures those movies are the actual. She ultimately texts the customer, her arms trembling. Are those recordings actual? Beaten and trembling, Katie breaks down in tears as a customer responds, providing her even extra paintings. Some other set of 5 movies. The nightmare isn't always over searching for a second of normally. She is going out to dinner with Kevin, who excitedly stalks information of a full-time modifying process he located for her. It will pay much less. However, it is strong actual profession route at her condominium. Kevin insists on looking the movie she's been operating on. The instant he sees them his face pales. They appear to actual. A sickening feeling settles among them because the anxiety builds. Katie abruptly recollects her home windows had been open. Coronary heart pounding, she rushes out to discover her cat with Kevin following near in the back of. They seek anywhere, however the cat is nowhere to be observed. The following morning earlier than she will be able to even seize her breath, her landlord indicates up banging on her door stressfully she will pay for 2 months. However, he isn't happy if she does not settle the relaxation inside per week. She's out later. Katie confronts Guy, admitting the cruel fact she most effective went out with him for the loose food, leaving an envelope of coins beneath his door. She walks away feeling hollow. That nighttime every other nightmare grips her whilst she wakes up in a chilly sweat. Her belly drops, her laptop display screen is on gambling one of the demanding movies. A chilly presence lingers with inside the air, coronary heart pounding. She steps out of doors to clean her thoughts, most effective to discover a package deal on her doorstep. She stares at it frozen earlier, then scrambling again, interior shutting the door and collapsing into silent tears. Tomorrow she forces herself to wait the process interview Kevin installation. However, nerves get the fine of her palms shake, her phrases stumble, and whilst she by accident knocks over a pitcher of water, the interviewer's expression says it all. Of the possibility is long gone. Dread sinks and her budget are strolling dry. Desperation pushes her to textual content. The purchaser is there. Greater paintings inside moments of respond. 3 new clips as she downloads them. A nagging notion claws at her thoughts. Need to she ask approximately her lacking cat? However, worry continues. Her silent now no longer lengthy after every other package deal arrives at her door. However, something is off. The safety digital digicam out of doors her constructing is long gone. Hard hammering, she opens the package deal and hundreds the pictures. The primary video is scary, a person brutally attacking every other earlier, then pouring a atypical substance over him. The sufferer convulses, foaming on the mouth. She cannot forget about this. She takes the pictures to the police. However, the detective slightly glances at it earlier, then shaking his head. It seems staged. We cannot deal with this. As proof defeated and exhausted, Katie returns domestic to discover Kevin sitting on her doorstep, challenge etched throughout his face. He begs her to prevent. No sum of money is really well worth this. However, interior a terrible interest pulls at her. She scours the net looking for lacking individuals, unsolved murders, whatever that would connect with those movies. However, she unearths not anything. She considers deleting the whole lot, wiping her laptop smooth, finishing this nightmare. Then a message from the purchaser: you are overdue. Her blood runs bloodless. She does not respond. Tomorrow she desperately searches for paintings at nearby cafes. However, each door closes in her face. Then every other notification pops up. This time the movies are not of strangers. One indicates her mom, every other her brother. In a suspicious, unsettling second and the very last clip, Katie herself converting in the front of her laptop. Her breath catches. The purchaser is not simply looking her paintings, they are looking her a name from the vet. Breaks her spiraling mind. Her cat has been poisoned. She feels it now, the invisible grip tightening round her lifestyles. She can't break out now, no longer, until she unearths a person else to take her area. Determined, she turns to Olive, the bartender, who as soon as cited in hobby and enhancing finning pleasure. Katie gives her a movie assignment to edit. Olive hesitates, however is of the same opinion, even though the photos deeply unsettles her. Then Olive stalks surprising information: she's pregnant. A crushing wave of guilt washes over Katie. She cannot try this. She cannot pull a person else into this nightmare. Later she reaches out to a grown-up movie supervisor she used to paintings for as a video editor. Desiring cash, she asks for a function in one of the movies. The supervisor is of the same opinion and brings her in for a shoot. However, because the cameras roll and he or she unearths herself paired with a lesbian associate, pain creeps in. All of a sudden she begins evolved vomiting. Panic growing, she rushes domestic. As she reaches her door she hears its smooth acquainted meowing. Her cat, she hesitates, palm soaring over her telesell smartphone. Then without searching lower back she texts the purchaser: I will do it, I will end the assignment. She presses ship and steps with inside. The purchaser coldly knowledgeable her that she had ignored the cut-off date. Irrespective of how lots she begged, his choice became very last, earlier than she ought to. Procedure. The frustration acquainted sound broke through the silence. A faint meowing, it appeared to be coming from the refrigerator. However, earlier than she ought to. Take a look at every other notification lit up her display screen. The purchaser had dispatched a brand new provide one. She widespread without hesitation. This time the venture became distinctive. She needed to movie something herself. The usage of her telesell smartphone and he or she most effective had 12 hours to locate the difficulty. As she contemplated her subsequent past, Guy known as he ignored her. She promised to go to and without hesitation showed her dedication to the purchaser's new request. Arriving at Guy's area she casually positioned her telesell smartphone at the bookshelf, discreetly recording their interplay. As he stepped away to get liquids she weighed her alternatives. How ought she knock him out? A brief experiment of the room and her eyes landed at the kitchen. Moments later a pointy item became hidden at the back of her boots. She cautioned, looking his favorite film, downed her glass of wine and settled onto his lap. However, as they were given nearer he lightly driven away, sensing something became off. She brushed it off as getting stuck up with inside the second. However, he wasn't satisfied. His problem deepened. He entreated her to speak, to inform him what became clearly happening. Alternatively she lunged. She aimed for his neck. However, he became faster. He overpowered her. Quite simply, tears streamed down her face as she mumbled a shaky apology earlier than grabbing her telesell smartphone and bolting out the door. Panicked, she ran directly to Kevin's location. Breathless and frantic, she spilled the whole lot: her fears, the surveillance, the break-ins, the nightmares that felt too actual. Kevin attempted to calm her down, reassuring her she became secure that not anything might appear to her. However, she could not shake the Feeling that something became very incorrect, he cautioned she live with him for some time, slicing off all touch with the patron. She agreed. However, as he stepped away to seize her a few garments, something struck her eye. A lamp. She had visible that lamp earlier than in one of the motion pictures. Interest grew to become to dread as she moved nearer. In the back of the lamp a hidden passageway brought about a basement. Her coronary heart pounded as she stepped into partitions who have been protected with pics. Dozens of faces, a few acquainted, a few unknown. All of them had one component in not unusual place: worry frozen of their eyes. As Kevin re-entered the room, she grew to become to stand him, her breath hitching. It really is. Whilst it clicked, this became the equal room wherein she had visible a person being hanged in one of the motion pictures. She swallowed tough, her voice slightly above a whisper. Kevin, what number of murders have been filmed right here? Kevin subsequently breaks down and confesses the person with inside the video had already deliberate to give up his lifestyles. However, the patron compelled Kevin to movie it if he refused. His own circle of relatives might be in hazard. He insists he had no desire, that he simply any other pawn with inside the patron's twisted sport. However, then he slips. He admits that a casting manufacturer had pointed Katie out as the following goal, and understanding she wanted the cash, Kevin had exceeded the activity to her without completely figuring out what he became, pulling her, and to Katie's anger boils over. She lashes out, blaming him for the whole lot she's been via. Kevin apologizes time and again, however it does not rely. She's already made up her thoughts. Without hesitation she pulls the weapon from her boot and slashes his throat. Kevin collapses, blood pooling around him as she stands there shaken, however resolute. Again domestic, she sits in the front of her laptop looking to photos she had secretly recorded. She had positioned the digital digicam the instant she stepped into Kevin's room, taking pictures, the whole lot. Then any other message from the patron, a brand new activity. This time she does not get to pick out the goal, it is her landlord. She hesitates because the patron sends her evidence photos of him leaving videotapes at her door, poisoning her cat, sneaking into her condominium. Her coronary heart kilos. However, she does not argue. Alternatively, she asks simply one component: what is the charge? An order that became the tale of this movie. What did you consider it? Allow us to recognize with inside the